everybody's an expert, and like, why would I need your help? I already have an attorney.
Welcome, amazing and resilient agents and investors nationwide. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020, and I believe this is role play call number 54. Chad, we already have 4 people in the queue, which is great. We had a little technical difficulty getting started. Chad and I are here as always. We have our new coach, who many of you have been hearing from, Bruce. He's new to us, but he's certainly not new to coaching. Tremendous amount of coaching, real estate, and investing experience, and he's also one of our clients. So we're really glad to have him. Chad, what I'm going to do when you're done, it looks like Bruce is going to try to call back in again. He was having some connection issues. Anything you want to say before we get started, Chad? Anything you want to tell the group?
Nope, let's just roll to the queue.
All right. Just so you all know, it's a little bit different than a role play call. We will answer questions. We very much, though, prefer to keep it in the form of a role play. And I don't think we've stumped Chad yet, but one of these days it's bound to happen. So let's see if we can do it this week.
And we only have on purpose, so I can delegate to Bruce now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully Bruce will call back in. We did lose him there. We only have 3 in the queue. Two of them disappeared already. So if you would like to be in the queue, just hit *6 and hit 1. And we have 3 people in there now. The first up this week is phone number ending in 6320. You're up first.
Hey guys, how are you?
Excellent. How about you?
Doing well. Just a little bit of running around.
Sure.
So what I wanted was I kind of wanted to role play as the probate expert, and I don't have any particular objection that I want. I just kind of want to be stumped and see how I respond, and then be corrected and maneuvered into the correct way I should be answering these things.
Good for you. You're brave. Awesome. So what's your name, sir?
Shaia.
Okay, Shaia, I guess you will call
Shaia,
Chad then, right?
I get my payback, dude. You remember what you did to me in Mastery? I'll go easier on you than you did on me.
I was just trying to give people value.
No, you're good, man. Okay.
Well, don't go too hard on me. It's my fourth day, first week out of Mastery.
Well, you were pretty strong in the other when the tables were turned, so I think you'll do well.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Let's go. Inbound or outbound?
I want to be the probate expert.
Okay, you're calling me though. You're inbound.
I'm calling you. Cold calling you. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is Chad available?
This is Chad. Who am I talking to?
Chad, hi, how are you doing? My name is Shaia. I actually got your number from the county clerk's office in the probate court. I have a team here locally in San Antonio that we actually go help out people and families in probate situation. We try to get and call these families pretty early so that we can step
Shaia,
in.
we have an attorney. We already have an attorney. We picked one early.
Oh, that's awesome. Actually, what we do is all our services actually are completely aligned with the attorneys, and our services kind of pick up where theirs leave off. We help with everything on your side that's not legal. So that includes housing, anything that has to do with housing, with real estate, personal property. We can help sell it. We can help move it. We can help organize it. We also help with the sale of the real estate. We help with the sale of the real estate. We help with tax strategies and investing strategies, and even sometimes estate planning after the sale of real estate. So we actually kind of are a full-service, vertically integrated probate solution system, and we just want to reach out and see how you guys are doing and what's the biggest issue you're facing so far in the probate process?
COVID-19.
Well,
We can't seem to. I mean, our attorney said don't do anything until we hear from him. We can't get in touch with them. There's nobody in his office. As far as I know, they issued a continuance or whatever you call that from a court to basically kick the can down the road. I think it's going to be August before we can do anything. So there's nothing we can do, Shaia. I mean, if you want to call us back maybe after July 4th or something, maybe we'll know what we can do. But right now, there's nothing we can do.
Well, Chad, if you have a minute, there's actually a couple things you can do to be kind of proactive in the process so that, when August rolls around and everything's finalized, you guys aren't at the back of the line, you're actually at the front of the line. Some of the things we can do is there you guys have a lot of personal property or some real estate stuff that you guys need to throw aside or help organize? Is that something y'all have?
Yeah, but state law says we can't have an estate sale. You can't do an auction. Like, there's no point in doing anything right now because we can't finish anything that we start.
This is true. Actually, in Texas, we just opened up last week. Our governor actually opened it up that we can do estate sales and auctions and stuff now. However, we can do a lot of that stuff online. But have you guys even started to organize amongst the heirs and figure out who's taking what needs to be sold, what you guys want to sell, what you guys want to donate? Have you gone and thought about any of that at all?
Some people have taken some things. It's all this came on right after the funeral, and nobody's been able to get back here and help. And I sneak out and mow the yard, and I don't know if I'm breaking the law or not. Who the hell knows which way's up right now? Man, listen, I really don't want to deal with this right now. I mean, like I said, I don't think there's anything you can do. Like, just call me back in a couple of months. This seems pointless.
I completely understand the frustration during this whole process, and I know there's probably a bunch of emotions that are kind of swirling through your head, which is kind of why we reach out a little bit early. It's actually good we caught you early in this process because we want to minimize the time you kind of spend on it. And ultimately what we can do is help organize everything, tag things for donation, give things and divide it amongst the family, and then organize everything else into a sale category. And because we can do that and kind of have all these different connections with people that can sell things online, and also we can sell things and move whatever things you don't want into storage, it kind of gets you proactive on the process, so it's not kind of lingering in your mind and waiting for you to kind of do it. Ultimately, with that being said, here in Texas, the probate process, there's something called a monument of title, which as long as you guys have the letter of testamentary, do you guys have the letter of testamentary?
Yeah, that's what they gave me at court, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great that you have that, because what state law in Texas actually allows you to take the real estate out of the probate, out of the assets, and allows you to actually sell that asset. So before, I know everything is kind of being kicked down the road till August, but being able to pull the real estate out, selling the stuff inside the real estate, dividing the personal property, and then actually selling the real estate and being able to divide that money, pay for some of the expenses that you've accrued during the probate process, you can get that kind of stuff out of the way before August. Is that something that would interest you?
I don't. I guess we would have to talk to the attorney. I've never heard of that. I mean, are you an attorney? I don't understand. Like, are you saying you're going to do that for us?
I'm not an attorney, but I've been doing this been doing real estate for a number of years now, and I've been specializing in probate for a little while now. And we work with a lot of attorneys, and unfortunately, something that I've figured out is that not all attorneys are made exactly tell you all this stuff. And I don't know your attorney. I don't know who he is or she, but it's in the attorney's best interest to kind of drag this out as long as they can, because rack up fees during the process. So, sometimes attorneys don't always want the families to get this process done as quickly as possible. But if you do ask your attorney to kind of go through this process, I'm sure he or she will be more than happy to do it once you ask. But yes, this exists, and if that's not the case and they're giving you resistance, I can guarantee you this is something, and we have a lot of attorneys that we actually work with that we can actually hook you up with as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's awesome, man. I'm actually headed down to your area the next few days. How's Friday at 3 sound? I can come over. My partner is with me. We can sit down. We can figure out all the things that you want to sell, the things you want to donate, the things you want to disperse to the heirs. We can put a plan together to have that stuff sold, or a plan together to have that sold in the next few days to even a week. We can figure out how much you want the house. We can give you a couple options of how much it's worth, whether you want to move very, very quickly on it or maximize the property value or, minimize the time. And I know you guys kind of is it interesting to you to be in a rush at the moment, or is it something you kind of want to maximize the most money you can get out of this process?
I mean, there's 3 heirs, and we want to get what it's worth. I mean, we're not looking to dump stuff. We've certainly had calls from the We Buy Houses guys, and we're not, they're thinking they're going to buy this house for $120,000. They're out of their mind.
Yeah, well, some people are just trying to take advantage of the people in your position, and that's kind of why we try to reach out as early as possible, because we find that, there's a lot of people in your situation to be taken advantage of. We don't like that. We're ultimately going to offer you a number of options that will allow you to decide whether you want to kind of take a quick offer and sell it for cheaper but get it done much quicker, or an offer that'll take you a little bit more time, maybe a little bit more risk involved, but will ultimately maximize the equity involved. I mean, is that something that you guys would be interested in hearing all the options that are available to you?
I suppose. Yeah. I didn't realize. I mean, quite honestly, man, I don't. You're talking above my pay grade. I feel like the attorney you should be having this conversation with them. I've never done this, and I have to answer to my brothers and sisters. So I'm not making any I need to talk to them first, and I probably should talk to the attorney. I mean, we don't know you.
You know what, Chad? That's actually a great idea. I would, if that's okay with you, and if you think that'd be okay with everybody else, I'd love to have a conversation with all of you guys at the same time. I know that some people, when they feel left out of certain things, they don't react very well to it, and I'm very exclusive. I ultimately want what's best for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to provide you with all your options, and with that, you can make an educated decision once you all come together. Is there any way that maybe I can get on a call with you and the whole family this Friday? And even if you want to put your attorney on it as well, then I'd be more than happy to have a conversation. We work very closely with a lot of attorneys, and we actually welcome them as opposed to other people who like to kick them out. We actually consider them a part of our team.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to everybody. I'll call you back if everybody wants to do that. I'll call my brothers and sisters, and I have a question. I've left a voicemail for the attorney 2 days in a row. I need to talk to him anyway. So, let me see if that worked. If everyone wants to do a call, then I'll get back to you.
Absolutely. Why don't I, because my schedule kind of fills up pretty quickly, why don't I leave you on the calendar for Friday at 3 for a call, and we can do, I know it's COVID time, so we can do a Zoom meeting. Is it okay if I grab your email right now and I'll shoot you an invite just so I can have it on my calendar? I don't want it to fill up, and I know I'm talking with a bunch of different families right now, so I want to help you guys out, and it sounds like you've been fed a lot of misinformation, and you've been harassed by a lot of people that don't have your best interest in heart. And I'd love to be able to just provide some guidance for you initially. I don't charge anything up front. I don't really even know. Sounds like you guys need help with a number of things. And, we actually don't get paid till we perform services for you. And right now, it just kind of sounds like y'all need guidance.
Okay.
All right, then that's great, man. I'll mind grabbing your email real quickly, and I'll shoot you over a calendar invite. And I appreciate it, and we'll leave it tentative, and I can check back in with you Friday morning, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's chad@email.com.
Thanks, Chad. I really appreciate it. And
all right, and we'll break here, and this is where you go into the property-specific questions. Now, okay. My observations, you are doing the right things in the right order. The one thing I will critique you on is so in that role play scenario, how many personal details do you know about me and my family and my situation?
Not
Tell me my
as many
story.
as I'd like.
All right.
Not as many. I mean, you have 3 heirs. You guys have a probate that you think is going to go out in August. Your attorney's not really answering his calls. He's going to voicemail often. You have personal property. You have real estate as well. You guys are looking to sell, but you're not really in a rush. You've been harassed by a number of people who have not really given you lowball offers. 120 is what you consider a lowball offer.
Good observation. So the one thing that, I try to put myself in the state that I would be in if this were a real phone call, right? And you've probably heard me give this feedback before. You delivered the probate USP, but in a very long version without checking in with me at all. And I didn't have a timer in front of me, but you probably went a minute or a minute and a half without giving me an opportunity to speak. And you don't have to, all you need is simple affirmations. Does that make sense? Is that right? Or do you understand that? You know what I'm saying? Things like that, just check in with them. Make sure they're engaged. And you're using the right language. Your tone is great. You've got a very calm, consistent tone. You seem confident. You seem knowledgeable. I love how you said I've been a real estate expert for a long time, and I've been specializing in probate for quite a bit, even though everyone on this call knows you've been doing it for 4 days because you admitted that before we started, right? So your delivery on a lot of that stuff is really good. You are talking, you're not listening enough. You're not getting enough engagement from me. So I would encourage you to listen to this recording. Think about where could I have asked an affirming question and gotten a small yes. You want a series of small yeses, and that keeps them on track. It keeps them engaged. And I felt like I wasn't having an opportunity to talk, but you weren't I didn't want to just interrupt you. I wanted you to be asking me. I felt like I wanted you to engage me more in the conversation that you initiated, right? And that's, I think, how anyone's going to feel. It's like, my God, this guy's overwhelmingly with all this information. So it's all good information. Just make sure you check in with me every once in a while. The other thing, and I understand you have the courage to step onto a public stage and do this. So this isn't a tough criticism, but you did some really beautiful setups, and then you walked right through them. You had an opportunity to set the appointment with me, and then you went on a tangent, and it took you almost 10 minutes to come back and set the appointment. You set it up, and you had me moving in the right direction. And I, without even hitting you with a hard objection, you went off on a tangent and failed. You had to reset your own setup. So you wasted an opportunity early to set the appointment. On the email address, that awkward silence that I gave you, you said, let me just grab your email. And then I gave you a little bit of silence, and you just talked to fill the silence. So remember what we talked about in Mastery, how silence can be, it's a wonderful communication tool, but it can work for you or against you. So when you do a nice setup like that, be comfortable with the silence. Don't just talk because there's silence. I was getting ready to say chad@email.com, and you ran off, and it took us another couple minutes to get back. And I gave you awkward silence because, hell, if in a real-life scenario, I would have forgotten you even asked me for that because you gave me so much more information. It was good information. But just make sure that you're not so eager to get out the information that you're stepping through your own setups. But you're doing really well, man. like all the points, like I said, you're doing the right things in the right order. You need to make sure that you're getting more engaged. You're giving them more of an opportunity to participate in the beginning of the conversation, because your number one priority is to get rapport and engagement, and that means dialogue, not just monologue. The last thing that I kind of marked that I wanted to talk about is, in order to, like, I would let you pull me out of my comfort zone, and then I would quickly retract, and you would have to come back after me. And you can accelerate that quite a bit if you bring my pain to the surface. You weren't talking to me about my feelings. You weren't getting me to affirm that I was stressed or that I was X, Y, or Z. I would encourage you to point to the financial aspects of what procrastination costs in probate. So you did a great job, and Monument of Title was, I'm so proud of you. You're really thinking outside of the box, and you're really focused on the highest and best service. That was really good that you went there. When I was trying to retreat and blow it off and act like it was no big deal and I was just going to wait until August, you circled back and you rounded me back up, and you put some pressure on me. You could have accelerated that and really motivated me by showing me how I was costing my family money by standing in the probate quicksand, through paying insurance, taxes, lawn care, all the costs associated, and whatever your read is on your local market. I believe we'll see prices correct after a short rally. And you did a great job saying, don't you want to be in the front of the line, not the back of the line? But in order to get a little bit more emotion out of me, you could have pointed to some of the pain points, and mainly the financial pain points or the stress pain points of waiting and having more work to do. And, potentially even how hot it is in Texas in July and August. But those things, like if we could show you a way to sell the personal property online for the most money right now, get the house ready for sale, carve it out in Monument of Title, and save you guys $10,000, like put numbers to it. Give me that fear of loss. And that would have made me more enthusiastic to get the appointment and meet with you, because you're showing me, hey, you're costing yourself money by procrastinating, without actually saying that, obviously. So those are my observations and advice.
Chad, quick observation. Quick observation from me as a third party listening. There was not one time when you even came close to making Chad wrong. You did a really nice job of acknowledging and diffusing everything he said. And you didn't disagree. It didn't sound like you were in any way arguing. It sounded like you were completely agreeing and then diffusing the argument and moving on. So really, really good job with that. Bruce, anything you want to add? Bruce is back.
Yeah, can you? So I heard a couple of times on that call that Chad expressed some pain points. So first time I heard him express some pain points was he talked about calling the attorney and calling for a couple of days and not getting anything back. That I think was an opportunity to pry into how that makes Chad feel. So how does that make you feel? Do you think it should be different right now? So pry into that pain point a little bit. And the other thing is he mentioned getting a bunch of lowball offers at 120, and a really great opportunity right there to say, okay, so what would you be looking for on the house? So you went into the different options, which was great, but dig into the options that the family thinks that they should be given. That was a chance that most people that I've found run with that when you ask them how much they think their house is worth. They'll run with it for 10 minutes, and they'll be the one doing the talking. Great
feedback. And congratulations. Less than 5% of our, probably maybe once a month, very, very few people are willing to step up and be the agent. So great job with it. And you can imagine after 4 days, if you're like this, just can't imagine where you're going to be in 4 months. So great work. Keep it up.
Thanks,
Shaia, you're still here, right?
I'm here.
Shaia, did you connect with Aaron?
I did not connect with Aaron, and I wasn't able to connect with Scott either. I don't actually know who Aaron is, and nobody reached out.
Okay, I'll remind him.
Yeah, and wasn't able to reach Scott either. I guess I left the mic a couple messages with their assistance.
I think he's out in the backcountry right now. That's why.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Chad. Thanks, Bruce.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks so much for stepping up. We have 2 more in the queue. We have by far a record number of people for this role play call, so don't be shy. If you would, you don't have to be like him. You can be the agent giving Chad or Bruce or myself a hard time. Next up is phone number ending in 6883. You're up next.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, that's Shaun, right?
Yes, Shaun.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you?
Hey, so this is the first time I'm ever on a call like this. I'm not part of your system or anything, but I do get the emails. Try to follow you guys. It's something I wanted to get into for a long time now. I'm a fireman. I deal with a lot of death all the time. And
sure.
I feel like I can be sympathetic to people, and I'm always trying to go above and beyond to provide a good service. So definitely like to know more about it. I don't know what you do on these calls, except for obviously I saw the role play. I heard the role play before.
Yeah.
So
maybe
you guys can pretend like I'm an executor or something.
Yeah, I've got your name and number, Shaun. Right afterwards, I will have one of our salespeople reach out. And what did you say you would like to have Chad pretend that you're an executor? Do you want to do that with him before you go?
I can try, and I can try to be a little harsh, unless that's not good.
So one thing, Shaun, I want to remind you, so this is a role play call, and we try to keep everything in a role play here. If you've never been to our mastermind calls, those are on Thursdays at 1 Eastern. And that's more general knowledge, like Q&A. So make sure you mark your calendar for tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Those calls are more kind of improv format, like we cover all kinds of different things. And if you want to role play, you're welcome to do that, but don't feel obligated to. I know you chimed in because you wanted to participate. Like, do you want to role play blindly or?
Sure. I'll keep it clean. I don't curse at all ever, so unless I'm really mad. But yeah. So,
I've never met a firefighter that didn't curse.
There's only a few of us on the job. So,
all right. Do you want to be the personal representative or the agent?
Yeah, I'll try to come from like a standpoint of like how can you call me at a time like this? So that's like my biggest concern, calling people.
Okay, that's what we call the lightning strike. Because it's the thing that everybody's afraid of, but very few people ever get hit. And if you do, it's usually only a time or two. It's a far bigger concern than it is a reality, just to give you some comfort. But it happens. Okay. It's going to happen. If you do this long enough, it will happen to everybody. So, and oftentimes, Shaun, that's an inbound call. So you will have gotten my letter. You'll be having a bad day. You'll sit and stew on it. And then usually when you get these, it's an inbound call that you get blindsided. So I'll let you call me so it's more realistic.
Okay.
So Shaun, you got Chad's letter and you're calling back and you're mad at him, basically.
Absolutely. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You can initiate with just a ring.
Okay. Ring.
Hello, it's Chad.
Hey, yeah, I got one of your letters in the mail.
Okay. Well, who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Shaun. Yeah, I got one of your letters. It says something about the estate that I'm in charge of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we send out mail to a lot of folks. Yeah, the reason I sent that, Shaun, I've got a team of folks right here in Roanoke that help families that are going through probate. And as part of that, we go to the courthouse, meet with the clerk each month, find out who might need our help, try to reach out early because we know we could make a big difference. Well, have you guys found it to be challenging, or is everything pretty straightforward so far?
Well, first of all, I'm getting tons of mail from realtors and from investors and from this guy, and everybody's an expert. And like, why would I need your help? I already have an attorney.
Yep, and the attorney's an important part. They're gonna handle probably somewhere between 20 and 25% of everything. And where do you think the rest of that responsibility falls?
I guess on us, because it seems like we're always doing something. It's become such a hassle, and I just don't understand how you guys could feel like I'm being preyed on with all these mails and phone calls, and I don't even know how these people get my number.
Yeah, I understand. And something you said is us. But if you haven't learned this, what most executors learn is us turns into I, and most of this is going to be your responsibility, and that's why we honestly take a risk reaching out as early as we do, because we realize a lot of other people are harassing you with a very selfish offer. So you've heard, I'll buy your house for 50 cents on the dollar and close quickly. I'm the best damn realtor you've ever met. You've heard all those things, right?
Yeah, it just seems like it's, repetitious mails just coming in like that. Got a few phone calls, but
so this is a different conversation. We basically pick up where the attorney leaves off, and we consider the attorney part of our team. We have people to deal with people problems, property problems, real estate problems. We even make sure that your family never has to go through this again as we wrap up the process, where most people forget about you and they're long gone whenever they've done whatever they can do to help. We like to stick with the family and make sure that you never go through this again. If you're not aware of it, it's going to cost somewhere between 5 and 7% of the overall estate value just in administration fees. And it's going to take months. And in this environment, it's going to take longer than usual, and it's going to be a drag. So we've helped a lot of families through this, though just so you understand, our process really starts with understanding your situation, what your goals are, who you want to be part of the conversations. Once we see that, then we can provide some options for you. For some families, that's as simple as we make sure you have a proper estate plan and you know how to reinvest your inheritance so that you can preserve that and take advantage of the environment we're in right now, where you can buy, stocks, real estate, everything at a discount. Other times, we'll do everything. So from making sure that the house is secure, that the proper insurance is in place, that the lawn is being mowed, that the personal property is sold, and maximize every dollar of that, put that back into the home, make it worth as much as possible. We sometimes even partner with families to flip the houses because they don't have the money to put in, and we're willing to take that risk because we're really here to make a difference in our community. And like I said, it's really up to you how we can help you. It just starts with a simple conversation where we see how we can help. We give you some ideas and options, and then you make a choice. So
that sounds like
Friday,
you guys are going to do a lot of work. I mean, how much is it going to cost us? Well, I got to split it between two other people that now they're coming out of the woodworks, of course, because they're in a will. But like you said, it's probably going to be me, and you just rattled off a bunch of stuff. Like, that's probably going to cost me an arm and a leg.
It's probably going to save you an arm and a leg. So what we see, like I said, we reach out early because we see a lot of families do nothing for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months until the attorney finally calls and is like, hey, what have you guys gotten done? And they should have been proactively helping you through the process, but they weren't. They were busy too. So over that time period, most families end up costing themselves thousands of dollars in holding costs and property maintenance and insurance and taxes, all those things. So we don't charge anything up front. I don't know how we're going to help you. There's different payment plans, payment arrangements for however we help. For example, if we do an estate sale where we sell all the personal property, donate the rest, and trash what can't be sold or donated, then our team is going to take 25% of the gross proceeds as a commission for doing all of that, controlling the cash, handling security, making sure nothing is stolen. Everything's included, but there's no upfront. Unless we do what we promise, we don't receive that fee. And pretty much everything else that I just talked about, it's all fee or commission based, but it's only paid after the service has been delivered to your satisfaction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So what most families find is that by working with us, we're able to take all of our experience, an entire team of people that would take you months to get together yourself. We can usually accomplish in weeks what takes families months, and that usually results in thousands of dollars saved just on the cost associated with it, selling things for undervalue, including the real estate and the personal property. So we know how to extract. Our number one concern is to preserve equity for the family. Our number two is to take away as much stress as possible. So we're very cognizant of every dollar. So we're trying to save you money and make your stress our stress, because it doesn't really stress us out. We do it every day. We've got systems in place for it. So like I said, once we know how we can help you, I can give you a more specific answer. Like we'll charge X for this, Y for this, Z for this, and it should be this much. But the one thing you can be sure of is that our goal is to not see how much money we can get out of you, but to see how much money we can save for your family. And the next time you know somebody in this situation, when you see what we do for your family, we'll be the first person you think of when another family needs help. So we're paying it forward in a way. You know, we try to contribute and add value anywhere we can, because that so far has paid off handsomely. So, Shaun, I know you're the executor. It sounds like you've got some other heirs. Who do you feel like should be part of the discussion if we're going to talk about kind of how we might be able to help?
It'd probably just be me, because, you know, I don't need any of them with their 2 cents, and they think they know what's going on, but they weren't here through the whole thing. So it'll probably just be me, and maybe my older sister, because, you know, I'll give her that respect that she's the firstborn, but that's probably about it.
So you haven't been through this before, have you?
No, this is all new, and no, I haven't.
So I'm going to encourage you to include everybody who has any part in this. If they are going to get an inheritance distribution at the end of it, they don't need to be part of every conversation, but they need to be part of the first one. As I told you, it's really important to me that I maximize the equity and I minimize the stress. And what I've seen in families in the past, I've learned my lesson. If we leave somebody out, even if they don't have any authority or decision-making power, and you don't want to give them that power, we want to give them a voice. We want them to feel heard, because if they feel singled out, if they feel isolated from this, then that could make it could create a social problem that you don't really have right now. So it's important to us that everybody feels included and that everybody's on the same page. If somebody does feel excluded and they get ugly and this rolls into litigation, it can drag on for years and it just wears the family down. So if it's okay with you, I mean, obviously with your permission, I'd like to make sure that your sisters, your wife, anyone you feel like even runs a minimal risk of feeling like they were left out, let's have that first conversation together. And then you and I can take it from there, and we'll do what's in the best interest of everybody. But let's at least include them from the beginning so we don't create more problems for you. That sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good. You answered a lot of questions in my mind that I was going to interrupt. And the next sentence was like, the objection already handled.
Okay. So how's Friday at 3 o'clock? Would that be a good time for us to just jump on a Zoom call with you and your family?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll try to get them together, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And what's the best email for you, Shaun?
Shaun@email.com.
Okay. And do you want to give me the other people's emails, or would you want to forward this along?
You know, if you send me an email, I'll respond back with their emails once I get confirmation that they're in.
Okay, that's fair. All right, well, I'll get that out. You'll see a Zoom invite. You just simply click the link. It's a phone or a computer. It's pretty easy to use. Have you used Zoom before?
No, never use it. I'll try to.
Yeah, it's really simple. It doesn't require. We use that because it's usually the easiest way for folks to get online, even if they're not super tech savvy. So I'll send that out. And have you got just a couple minutes to answer a few more questions? Like I try to do at least a couple hours of homework and look at the assets that the family has, so when we talk to the family members and everybody's there, we can kind of walk you through some of the specific options. So have you got just a couple minutes to answer a few questions?
Yeah, a couple minutes is fine.
All right, and we'll break there. So Shaun, from there, like what next we're going to talk about real property. We're going to talk about the house and I'll verify the address and gather details on like the specs. Then I'm going to move into finances. Then I'm going to move into like an insulation clause in case somebody comes in behind me, just to kind of show off my knowledge. And if you listen to like in Probate Mastery, a class that we do once a month, that we spend like 3 hours breaking this conversation apart, and I explain each and every line of it. We don't really have the time on these calls to go that deep and go through the entire conversation, but we usually, as soon as we get the commitment, even if it's a tentative appointment, then you quickly confirm and act like you're wrapping up, and then you reset and say, oh, real quick, let me ask you a few questions. I'm going to do some homework, and there's a lot of psychology in that. But these end up being 15 to 20-minute conversations. But anyways, in the interest of time, we don't always take them full form. Have you've sold real estate before? Is that what you're already selling?
Yes, I'm in real estate sales now.
Yeah, it's obvious you've prospected. I mean, you did a really good job. It was realistic, and basically what we're doing is we're focusing on people and situation before real estate, because everyone else is going straight for real estate. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can about you, your situation, what your challenges are, seeing where you're standing in the way, show you some examples that I can help you, and focus on people and situation. Then once I have the appointment, then I'm ready to talk about real estate. If you notice, I'll usually step away from it. And that's evolving because there is more competition in this space now than there was 6 years ago. But if you listen to a few of these role plays, you'll hear us do it, from different angles. But that's pretty much how most of them go, and they're pretty easy conversations. These folks really need help. Sometimes they haven't realized it yet. That's why I showed you some things that you didn't know that you could expect to come up, and I want to pull some of that fear to the surface so you can take me a little more seriously. And I'm making it sound a lot different than anyone else who's called you. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, the compassion and the empathy that led you on your main career path will serve you well in this space. We've had a few firefighters and even a couple of retired police officers, military, like public service guys tend to do really, really well with this, because you already understand that. That's the hard part to teach. Empathy is the number one key to this, but it's extremely hard to teach. And you have that, or you wouldn't be running into burning buildings. So I think you'll do well with this.
And Shaun, we appreciate your participation. Words. Yeah, we'll have one of our salespeople, as soon as this call's over, reach out to you if that's okay. Walk you through the whole program.
If I don't answer, you could just leave me a voice message, or
sure.
I don't know if you have my number connected to my email account. You just send me an email, or I'll just give you guys a call back.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm at our house now.
Yeah, your number's 911, Shaun said. Chad said, yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot for participating. Appreciate it. We have two more in the queue. That should take us nicely up to the top of the hour. Up next is phone number ending in 4361. You're up next.
Hi, Chad. This is Archie. I am trying to reach out to 2019 leads, and I want to role play that you're calling me. I am the lead, and you're calling me as an agent.
Okay. Archie, did you get the link from Darcy earlier, just 20 minutes before the call?
She sent me a link, and I looked at it. It had nothing. First email came in probably an hour or more ago, and I see an email coming back probably right at the point of starting the role play call, and I haven't gotten a chance to look at it
I just
yet.
saw it right before I got on this. I think I found what you were looking for. It was on Mastermind call number 257. Okay. And so I think you'll be able to hear this. It was like a week or two ago. I think that's what you were looking for, so check that when you get off. Okay, so you want me to be the agent calling you, yes, someone who's been in probate for a long time, and I don't know if you're finished or if you sold the real estate, or I know nothing, right? And I've never sent you anything before?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Archie.
Yes, that's me. Who's this?
Hey, my name is Chad Corbett. I'm calling because we have a team of folks here in Roanoke that help families that are going through or have been through probate. And we've helped a lot of families that are currently in the beginning of it. And, you know, it's something I've helped several families do this, but I realize that a lot of them are calling us a year or two too late, and they've been through very stressful situations, and it's ended up costing them a whole lot more time and money, and we can step in and make a big difference really quickly. So I realize that there's a good chance you've already dealt with the probate that you were the executrix on, but I just wanted to call and let you know that we're here in the community and see if there's any help that you guys could use, like finishing up the probate. Where are you guys at in the process, and do you think is there anything that you could use a hand with?
No, we're done with the process. We have done all our court proceedings, and my mom's living at the property, so we're pretty much done and settled with.
Okay, great. And have you guys had your final hearing and the distribution and everything?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, I don't know if you've talked to other families who have been through this, but most people aren't as relaxed about it as you are. It sounds like you had your act together. Let me ask you this: having been through it, I think you're probably aware by now how expensive it was to go through probate, and it thankfully doesn't sound like it was really stressful for your family, but it is for a lot. But have you taken steps to make sure that the next generation doesn't have to go through this? Have you made plans for your own estate and the other heirs?
What do you mean by that?
Well, one of the things we try to do for every family, usually having gone through probate, they see the value in never having to do that again and not putting their heirs in that position. So part of our service is we like to offer a free consultation for you to sit down with one of our estate planning attorneys, and they can hear you out, and it's obviously confidential. I won't be present. That's attorney-client. I have nothing to do. It's just I like to know that families are taken care of. So we can provide an opportunity for you to sit down with a professional that does this every day. You can figure out whether a will with certain assets titled a certain way, or maybe even a living trust is what makes the most sense for most people. But it won't cost you anything. It's just something we try to do to make sure that you know we try to make an impact in our community and help folks. And we realize it's difficult to take time out and kind of pause everything and do that. But a lot of people are sorry that they didn't, especially when they find family members struggling through probate. The other thing that we do for every family we work with or we make contact with is we try to make sure that you understand what your options are for investing your inheritance. So some of our families actually invest through us, and we actually use the money for private real estate loans. We work with a lot of investors. We work with, you know, we actually invest ourselves. And based on our private money program, we can show the family ways to double their money about every 4 years, and really not take any real risk. But there's also the more traditional route where we work only with registered investment advisors. And if you're not aware, that's financial services professional. It just has a higher standard of education and service. And because we want to make sure that you're not working with someone who's just hungry for commissions and they have a fiduciary responsibility. So the other thing that we try to provide for everybody is an opportunity to sit down with an advisor and understand what it might look like to open a 529 college savings plan or a health savings account or invest in a brokerage account to grow the legacy that you inherited, to preserve that and grow it. And in this environment, you know, there's a heck of an opportunity to invest in undervalued assets in just about every class. So if you haven't already spent that money or earmarked it, you know, it may be worth your time. It's certainly not going to cost you anything to understand what your options are. Our partners are willing to sit down for at least an hour with our folks. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to at least introduce you to those two people and see if there's any way they could help your family. Does that sound good?
Well, I have a question for you. So the probate attorney that I had, wouldn't he be a good candidate for the estate planning going forward?
Potentially. So, and a lot of folks, you know, with probate attorneys, oftentimes they have experience in other areas of law, and they got tired or they just weren't good enough at that to make a good living. So they fall back to probate. Now, that probably represents half of the industry. The other half, they started out as estate planning attorneys, which is a really tough way to get in because they're so limited in how they can market their service. Those tend to be really excellent estate planning attorneys, the ones that started there and then went into probate. If they started in personal injury or criminal defense or litigation and then they came to probate, that's a pretty good sign that it's a fallback career and a safe position for them. So I'm not sure which attorney you worked with. The one that we work with, his predominant business is preventing probate, not trying to get probate on the back end. So he very proudly says, I do very few probate cases because my clients are protected. So you're going to know the answer to that better than I am. I could. But I would just caution you, all attorneys are not created equal. Some are there because it's a safe place to fall back and be complacent. Others are there because they wanted to contribute in a certain area of the law. And just make sure make sure it's the latter if you're going to work with that person.
Do I ask them what their background is? Or how do I come to that conclusion that it's not a fallback career for them?
Well, you can investigate attorneys. If you go to like resources like findlaw.com, you can kind of see, or LinkedIn is a great place. Most people want to publish their professional resume on LinkedIn as essentially, social media, like it's a social media resume. So they'll oftentimes tell you where they went to school, what positions they've held. So you can kind of do some due diligence, with social media, with some directories like FindLaw. And you can also look at the state bar records, and you can see, what cases they've had, what firms they've been with, and if they've ever had any complaints or any ethics violations.
Okay.
So would you like to at least speak with our team members on the financial and legal side, or do you feel like you're taken care of?
Sure. I think I'd like to speak to them.
Okay. And what I'll do, a guy named Mark is our registered investment advisor. Mark would it be okay if he called you this afternoon before 5 o'clock in the next 2 hours?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll have Mark give you a call. And then Jeff is the attorney that we work with most often. He's one of those that did start out as an estate planning attorney, and then as he got that business built, he brought on partners, and they handle the probate in his firm. But he's predominantly focused on preventing probate. So I'll have him give you a call probably in the same time frame, like between now and 5 o'clock. He should be available. And so expect to hear from those two guys. And if there's ever anything that you guys, if there are any other families that are going through this, even if it's guardianship, if mom or dad has to move out, we have resources to help families in transition. So, sometimes that means getting houses empty, getting tenants in there, getting personal property into storage, getting family members in the nursing homes. We do a lot of different things to help a lot of different families. So if you can think of anyone, just, give them our information. You got one of our letters, so hand that over. And if there's ever anything we can do to help your family, please let us know.
All right. Thank you so much for your call.
All right. Thanks, Archie. And we'll break. So a lot of times they don't run that long. You ask some good questions. That would have been a long form. But if I call somebody who, oftentimes people are like, should I scrub my list? That's the reason you don't scrub your list. So the value in that, for anyone who is new to these calls, the reason I took the time to go through that and help her with something that I can't directly monetize is I just created a referral for two people one who has laws against directly soliciting her for that business. The estate planning attorney cannot directly target her. So I have done that for them. And I'll go back and hand them that referral. They will get a 1-hour consultation, and if they're good at what they do, Archie will end up with an estate plan. And the next time they're in a real estate conversation with one of their clients who's in a trust, like if they're the trustee and the trustor has passed away, the beneficiaries are sitting in front of them, stressing out, that gives them an opportunity to say, oh, hey, just, no big deal. There's a guy here in town, a friend of mine, Chad. He's got a full service. He can handle everything. I know you guys are out of town and you can't deal with this. We'll just let Chad take care of everything. And they can give you that direct referral. So you're creating, by providing value to people that you don't get paid for right now, you're creating future referrals. And registered investment advisors, estate planning attorneys, nursing home employees, senior moving companies, estate sale companies, anyone that you can refer them to create future business back in your direction, inbound business, it's absolutely worth taking the time to have that conversation and help that person.
All
right,
right, that helps.
For me, Archie?
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much.
Chad, we got 3 more in the queue. We're not going to get to all of them today. Do you want to take one more, go a little bit overtime? Oh, you got a 3 o'clock? Okay.
I have a 3, yeah.
Apologies to the 3 in the queue. If there's anything pressing you need help with, either come, send us an email, support at all the leads, and we'll get right back to you one-on-one, or come on the mastermind call tomorrow. We still do role plays on the mastermind, so we just try to keep them a little bit shorter. The mastermind call will be 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And I want to thank everybody who showed up today. We had 140 people on this call at one time, which is a really good turnout for that's mastermind call numbers on. So we appreciate the turnout. We want to thank everybody who was here. I want to particularly thank everybody who actively participated. And I want to challenge each of you, take one idea, one thing you heard on these calls today, go out and put it into practice, and come back every Thursday and share your results with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great day. We will talk to you 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Take care.